Hey everyone, as a big fan of Rival, I had to pick up the Mirage. I actually picked up two when I went to the US yesterday to pick up some packages from Out of Darts. There was a brief customs issue where I had to ship some blasters to stateside instead of here. I'm only an hour 15 away. While I was there, I went to Walmart and they had a couple of these, and I bought some other stuff too. There's a short I just did that talks about everything I picked up. I'm going to use this at an event today, but I wanted to at least film this first part where I show you the blaster in the box. First impressions for me of this blaster are it looks pretty sharp and it's smaller than I imagined. I'm always sad when blasters don't have clear mags, but orange mag it is. And this one's kind of cool because you can breech load it too, which I'll show you what that means after. This thing has a lot of rails. I don't know what the heck you put on stock Rival rails. I have almost nothing that goes on them, but boy, it sure has a bunch of them. It comes with 10 rounds. And I gotta say, it has my least favorite type of priming bar, that rear slide. I wish it had like a hook or something to grip on to make it easier. Kind of like what they added to the N series agility. Kids especially can have a hard time priming these. Oh, and a little correction from me. I feel like I've mentioned before that this little ring on the front is like a sling point. It's not strong enough for that. I've been corrected and it makes sense. It's to hang those old Rival flags off of, I guess. I kind of wish they still included those team flags. Those were kind of cool. I used a bunch of those at the cafe. Anyway, let's open this up. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Nice shot, nice shot. Uh-oh, jam. Got him. Dang it. Gotta admit, I like the breech load. Oh, jammed again? That's a hit! Ah, it hit me in the head. Nice. Oh, that's a hit! This is a lot later in time than that original unboxing, but the good thing is I've had a bunch of chances to both play with this blaster myself and to see both adults and kids take a crack at it. In the end, the Nerf Rival Mirage is probably better than I initially thought, and I would put it as kind of a okay blaster. Right off the bat, I won't be doing much of this review with this included 7 round, 10 round, whatever. This little short mag, because I really like transparent mags. These cheap, solid orange ones, I do not like. Our mag release is right here. It's kind of in an awkward spot, but once you get used to it, it's fine. It's a Rival mag, so you might lose a ball sometimes when you eject them, but no big deal. So right away, the Mirage is compatible with your other Rival mags. Works great. Always prefer 12 rounds to 7. And this blaster is actually a lot smaller than I first thought from seeing pictures. It's a pretty good size. When you compare it to the Apollo, it's quite a bit shorter, and they managed to make the grip a bit smaller and more comfortable as well, considering that the mag goes inside. I like that you can see the mag through the grip here. I think that's all great. I really love that they added the option that you can add to this on the fly. This kind of solves one thing I don't like about mag-fed blasters when it comes to parties and events, is that you don't really want to get into outfitting everyone with magazines. But with this blaster, the nice thing is you can put it in people's hands with one mag in it and they can just keep topping up through the top. And that's what people did, and that worked pretty well. It should be noted, I think it's kind of bonkers that the Challenger mag doesn't really fit in here. You can make it fit. I'm not going to because mine got stuck last time. If you turn it around like this and jam that in really intensely, you can get this to seat, and then it looks like this, which is kind of weird, and it's really hard to get out again. As much as I thought this banana mag looked kind of cool, I'm already over it. The only thing this is good for is reminding players which way to put in a mag in the Challenger, since the Challenger has that backwards mag well, which is annoying. Other things to mention about this blaster before I get into the heavy opinion parts, it has a safety over here. FPS is actually really good. I was getting an average of 95 to 96 FPS, which is not bad at all. It does have this oversized N-Strike-like barrel lug. Hopefully we get an official attachment someday, but until then I know Xbox games and others are working on attachments. Does Paper Skeletons have one yet? I don't know. All those talented people are working on stuff. These rails, I wish they were just Picatinny rails, but they're this in-between rail that there are no attachments for. So right off the bat, you're going to have to use some sort of adapter if you want to use any sights or optics from any other blasters. This blaster also sports my least favorite type of prime, which is the squeeze it really hard and pull it back at the same time prime, which I just find is a recipe for jamming. Another thing I don't like is, unlike other blasters like this part in here is hollow. We don't have a whole section coming back, so it would actually be a little bit difficult to install kind of a T-prime in the back. I wish it was more like a Chronos that way. That said, you know, I haven't had this apart. Maybe if I take the screws off and take this cover off, maybe there would be an easy way to put some sort of loop on here or pull bar or something. I just find that this is a difficult, even once you get active and running around, your hands get a little slippery. This is a difficult blaster at times to prime. I'm a little bit less hard on it than I originally was because I watched more kids be successful with this blaster than I expected, given the type of prime. It can feel a little flimsy when you're squeezing and pulling this back as well, because this is just plastic around the edge here and this is hollow on the inside. For jams and all that, you know what? It jammed enough, but not a crazy amount. Honestly, in the end, I probably had about the same amount of jams as I would if I was using an Apollo, but I have never really had the hate for the Apollo that others did. I find as long as you're really careful to rack it all the way back and all the way forward, it was usually pretty consistent for me. But back to this one. Sometimes too, this top loading bit is nice, but it wouldn't be that difficult for something to get kind of shoved out of place. I did have a few jams just due to that, and maybe it was kind of short stroking it or just enough for a ball to kind of get up in there and then get into a weird spot, or someone double priming it. But for the most part, it worked pretty slick. I'll show you. Move that back. Ball goes into position. The piece that pushes the ball into position is on kind of a spring, and it closes up and seems to make a pretty good seal and has a pretty good pop. Oh yeah, there's a rail under here for some reason. In an ideal world, if this actually worked with anything, maybe you could make some sort of stock that attached down to this rail, maybe, or you could just put extra balls on here, maybe. I don't know what you would do with that. I always forget to check for Slamfire. It does. What I really, really wish about the Mirage, if I could change one thing, is I wish that this is just a cool pistol with a T-prime in the back. Get rid of all this nonsense, get rid of all of that, have it look like this with a T-pull in the back. How awesome would that be? You would have this really cool pilot-sized mag and grip-fed pistol. That would have been awesome, and it would have been easier to prime, which would have meant a few less jams for people. I recently have learned that some people like a top prime. I think you're crazy. Unless the ergonomics are really, really good, or the prime is really, really easy. This is a pretty wishy-washy review, but the Mirage is a little bit better than I thought it was at first. The more I used it, the more I didn't mind it. I would love to get inside this and see if there's any way at all to cut this down a bit. I would love to make this into something smaller. I'm guessing you have some pretty crucial mechanisms up in around here though, so there'd be no way to cut it back as much as I would like. Even if it could be minimized a bit, that could be really cool. So stay tuned, I might try that out. What do you think of the Mirage? Have you had a chance to try it out? Is it worth the money? Think so. Like a lot of rival springers, it's really iffy on loaners and really iffy on ages, because some people can just have a hard time with the double dexterity required to have grip strength and at the same time prime it back all the way and forward. If you've ever hosted games with Rival, you've heard dozens of people go, it's broken, it's jammed. 9 times out of 10, they just didn't fully prime the blaster all the way back, and they didn't seat it all the way forward. That's a look at the Mirage. I had more fun with it than I expected. I would pick this up and use it again just because I did like that loading in through the breech at the top here. I thought that was pretty cool combined with mags when you're all out of those mags. Worth a pickup. Let me know in your comments below what you think. Do you have a less in the middle opinion than I do, where you're like, it's not bad, but I wish it was better? Let me know.